If there was one thing that I would want a person to take away from this event, it's this: support the arts. Art is what documents what's happening in the world. Art is what we use as comfort, insight, education, supporting, because the arts support us.
I'm super excited to welcome all of you. My name is Susanna Peredo Swap. I am the founder, executive director of Vanguard Culture. For those of you who are here working with us for the first time, we are a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to advancing San Diego's creative industry workforce. And so we do that through our award-winning arts journalism, professional development for creatives, and unique cross-industry events that encourage a creative collaboration across visual, performing, and culinary arts. Today is such a beautiful day. We have people here from film, theater, fashion, visual arts, dance, music. You saw that all these different color ID badges represent different things. Connect with one another. Oh, you're a filmmaker too. Oh, you're a dancer too, right? So meet each other, connect with each other throughout the day. Remember that there are panel sessions on this stage, and then there are workshops taking place also in the garden area down by Early Girl Gardens. So take advantage of those, right? Pay attention to the sessions that are happening. We've got storytelling for creatives. We've got portfolio reviews later as well at 2 o'clock. So if you want to get feedback about how you're presenting yourself online, your LinkedIn page, your Instagram, your online portfolio, your reel if you're an actor, sign up to that at the registration, and sign up to get honest feedback if you can take it. There are very limited slots, but we have incredible reviewers here today doing that. We also have a session called the Board of Boards. So if you're on the board or an advisory board of an arts nonprofit, don't miss this, okay? This is an opportunity to work with one of the most established mediators, people from heads of state. Call this person in, Alexis Dixon, to mediate very complicated issues, and he's going to workshop you into the next level of what it means to be a board member. We also have some wonderful art activities, so even if you're not a visual artist, go and get creative. Go in there and be part of the community. Add to the collective creativity happening there. And of course, I have to take an opportunity to thank all of the amazing sponsors and donors who made this event possible. I'd like to thank, of course, our great friends Jack Lample and Jerry and Susan Slavitt, who continually support us. The Soap Factory, what a great space, right? What an amazing space this is. Let's give a shout out to the Soap Factory. Thank you. And also, of course, the California Arts Council, the Department of Cultural Affairs for the City of San Diego, the Magnolia, Shaping Freedom, and the Estate of Jean-Michel Basquiat. So let's give it up for all of those people that made that possible. So this has been an incredible journey. We host this mashup every couple of years, and each time it gets better and better. This time we have brought the best of the best in arts leadership and business, because we believe that artists, creatives of every kind, deserve to make a living doing the thing that they love. Okay? And none of this starving artist stuff. This is not the day for that. This is the day to rise up and level up, okay? So with that, it's my incredible honor to welcome our keynote speaker today. It made me emotional. This woman has changed my life, honestly, just not only through our friendship, but just taking things. What I love, the phrase that she says is type A differently. Right? So all of us who are arts leaders, we tend to like, do it all, do it all, do it all, do it all. And there's something really powerful about going, wait a minute, let me just be full myself first, and then I can give to the creative community. And of course, there's another session called Caring for Caregivers, because artists are second responders, right? We are the people that humanity looks to for joy, for delight, for beauty, for inspiration, especially in times that are challenging, which we are all living through right now. Not only did we live the pandemic, right, and we kind of survived that, but now we're in this other sort of level of pandemic, which is about arts funding. Like, our arts funding is disappearing. And what I'm here to tell you today is that you don't have to do this alone. We are here in community, we can collaborate, we can share resources, and we can empower one another. So please help me welcome the amazing Lisane Basquiat. So I'm just gonna hand you.
There I go. Yeah.
I didn't say enough about her background. But I want to say, so of course, she's an incredible business leader, a mindfulness leader, and she's also the co-administrator of her brother, Jean-Michel Basquiat's estate. So through this, she was also the curator of a wonderful exhibition that toured the world of his work. So she's also a creative, she's a curator. But there's this been beautiful mesh between all of those areas of her life that has really impacted how I see the world and how that reverberates in everything that we do as an organization. So I think that's what Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning. Let's all take a breath together. How's that? And that's as much for me as it is for all of you. I feel nervous, and I don't know why. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So last night I was, I need my glasses. Use that one. Okay. How's that? Okay. So I'm going to use my, oops, what is happening? I just got my hair done, so when I put my glasses on, it gets stuck in the braids. I'm going to use my notes for a little bit. Hi, Harlan. How are you? Good. I haven't seen Harlan. Harlan's a photographer. Say hi to Harlan. And I haven't seen him since the pandemic. All right, so last night I was at home bouncing around, and I was thinking about all of us in this room today. And I was thinking about what I wanted to talk about and what I thought would be helpful to share with all of you. And I was doing it to music, so I was kind of bouncing around, kind of trying to get my energy going. And there was this song that came on by Eminem. I love Eminem. Like him or hate him, he speaks the truth. He's a creative who creates and expresses with courage, and he speaks what's in his heart vulnerably and clearly. And I really appreciate that about him as an artist. And there was a song that popped on called Higher, and I'm looking because I've only heard it a couple of times. And last night it really hit me. And the line that hit me was, every time I think I've hit my ceiling, I go higher than I've ever been before. And there's some curses in there, but I'm not gonna, right? And I've just been thinking about that ever since, and everything that I was going to talk about kind of left the room for me. Because what I started to think about was this time that we're all in right now, and the times that I've been in my life where I feel like, wow, I can't hit either the ceiling beneath me or the ceiling below me. I don't know where I'm at, but somehow or another, we all wind up higher than we were before, one way or another. And so I was kind of thinking about that, and as I was dancing around last night, and I decided that that was what I wanted to talk about this morning. And to talk about that, I wanted to share first a little bit of my story with you, so you have an idea of who I am, where I've come from, and why that particular song resonates so strongly for me. I grew up in Brooklyn, in a brownstone in Brooklyn. I'm the middle child of a Haitian father and a Puerto Rican mother. My parents divorced when I was very young. And my father was the one who raised me, my older brother, Jean-Michel, and my sister, Janine, who's 3 years younger than me. And we grew up in a household where my father was Haitian. I'm first generation. My father came to this country at 17 years old, and the first job that he had was pushing a garment rack down 34th Street in New York City. And he landed somewhere in December. This is a young guy from Haiti who had never left Haiti. And he left Haiti because of the political unrest and social unrest that was going on in Haiti at the time. The country had been taken over, there's a better word, but taken over by Duvalier. They referred to him as Papa Doc, and then his son, Baby Doc. And they were reigning terror on the country, and there was a lot of class divide and political divide, and there were some horrific things that were happening. And so out of that, my grandfather passed away, and then my uncle was killed by the Tum Tum, I'm going to mess up the word, but by his army, these folks who would go through the streets and rain terror. And so my uncle had been talking crap about Duvalier at the post office. And on his way home that night to his wife, who was carrying my cousin, Katia, who's now my age, he was murdered. And so my grandmother, in fear for her son's life and out of concern that 2 men in her family had been killed, she allowed my father at 17 years old to come to the United States. And so he came to this country in December, and according to him, he came to this country with a toothbrush in his pocket and got his first job pushing a cart down the street in New York City. And it was very cold. And so here he was pushing a cart down the street. He said that the first coat that he had was actually a woman's coat. He didn't even know. He didn't care because it was so cold. And from there, met my mom at a club and where they played Spanish music. My mother was Puerto Rican, and language was the thing that brought them together, or the connection that they were able to form. And they got married. And then they had my brother, Jean-Michel, myself, and then my sister. Then they separated a few, years later, 13, 14 years later. And we wound up living with our dad. And so our household was one where there was a lot of creativity in the home, lots of music, lots of great food, lots of interesting conversation, lots of museum visits, cultural things. It was always something that was so important in our lives. And it was kind of the undercurrent of the experience that we had growing up. And my brother, sad to say, because people ask us this all the time, he wasn't like walking around the house with a beret on and a palette and kind of painting. That's not what was happening. You know, he was a kid. He was mischievous. He was curious. He was a prankster for sure. And he was just a person who created. Everything about his life was creative. And I created in a different way. For me, it was about people and human behavior and the ways that people connected to each other and the language and communication that happened both in my household and around me, that was the words that were spoken and also the words that weren't spoken, the energy of things. And so in our household, we were told, instructed, demanded to go and get a white-collar job, because that's what you did in order to fulfill the American dream. You get yourself into a white-collar profession, a lawyer, a doctor, accountant, whatever, and then you live out the American dream. In our household, that was very different for us, because while it was different for us in that those are not the kind of kids that we were at all. And so there was this kind of conflict. As the middle child, I was able to kind of hide behind my brother's experience of trying to break out with his creativity. And so years later, Jean-Michel left the house because he had to, in order to really, truly live the life that he knew he had to live. It was in here. It was part of him. And so that's kind of my point one in this conversation, since this is a room of people who are creatives, administrators within creative organizations. When there's something inside of us, when we allow that thing that's inside of us to truly have voice, it's almost like we can't not respond to it. And sometimes that brings a challenge when we're in environments that aren't willing to accept that or support that. And so what that creates for those of us who are creatives, which I think most of us in this world are in one way or another. You can be an entrepreneur and be a creative. It takes courage to step out and do the thing that you truly want to do, no matter what you're told is the right thing. And so I want to honor the creatives in the room. I want to thank you for saying yes to the part of you that knows that there's something that you want to do that's different from the path that sometimes gets laid out for us. To the parents that are in the room, I encourage you that if you have a child that exhibits creativity or who wants to be a creative, encourage them. Encourage them to lean into their creativity and encourage them to learn how to actually be able to make a living doing it. I think one of the things that was a bit of a hiccup between my father and my brother was the fact that my father did not understand my brother's artistic drive. He just didn't fully get it. And there was never an example to point to of a black kid from Brooklyn with dreadlocks who would then go on to be the greatest painter in the world. I believe that, deeply in my soul, and not just painter. But creative, because I think that's what it is. Like, he painted, but it was just a way for him to be able to express what he thought about the world and what he thought about humanity and the ways that we interact with each other. I think that my father would have been, and I believe that later on in his life, he's passed away. Gerard Basquiat was my father's name. I think later on in life he got it, but had he gotten it a little bit earlier, what he would have done, perhaps, was shown my brother, taken his business acumen and showed my brother how to apply business to the work that he was doing, to the creative work that he was creating. That's something that Vanguard Culture does. And that's one of the things that drew me so closely to Susanna, because she has a heart for creatives, and she has this desire to help creatives, to celebrate creatives, to celebrate the work that they're doing, and to also show creatives and teach them how to actually make a living doing the thing that they love doing. How many people in this room are creatives? So I know who I'm talking. Okay, good. I just want to make sure I'm talking to the right group of people. Okay, good. So I think that's one of the things that drew me to Susanna and to the work that you all are doing with Vanguard Culture, is the fact that it's this thing, this organization that recognizes and respects art and culture and seeks to support the ability for the courageous act of being an artist, so that you can actually do the thing that you love. I took a different path, and a lot of it was because I saw how challenging it was for my brother to stake his claim in the work that he was doing and what he wanted to do in his dream. And so I went into corporate, and I'm kind of a Jill of all trades, so I was able to do that and do it successfully, and I enjoyed it when I did it. But I realized over time that it just wasn't the right thing for me. It didn't feel right in my soul. And that goes back to what I was saying before. What's in here, the thing that either has you driven to be an artist, a creative, or a business person, or to start a nonprofit called Vanguard Culture. Whatever that thing is, we feel alive when we do the thing that's inside of our soul. And conversely, we start to feel a little bit less like ourselves more and more every day when we don't. So I encourage you that if you are a creative in this room, if you have people that are within your circle, your community, your family that are creatives, the active community, which is really what we're doing here today, of coming together, teaching each other whatever it is that you, bringing something to the table and contributing to the pot of ensuring that we're all successful at the thing that we're doing, that's the right road. That's the road to be on, especially now when things are a little bit crazy in the world right now. And art writes the history of our lives. Art is the history of our lives. And it's kind of this, not sneaky, but it's this peripheral language that, an energy that guides our view of what's happening in the world at any given time, the world inside of us and the world that we're witnessing. And so if painting is your thing, paint. If it's photography, take those photos. If it's storytelling, teach storytelling. Tell your story. Whatever it is, do as much of it as you can, especially now when something as beautiful, as helpful, and as medicinal as art is being undervalued, quite frankly. If there was anything to lean into, it's art. If there was anything to fund, it's art. If there's any group of people to support, it's artists and creatives. I truly believe that artists and creatives are in the same realm as teachers. Artists teach the world what it is that we're looking at. And I encourage you to continue to get your work out there, learn. Vanguard Culture does an amazing job. This mashup this weekend is designed to help you to learn how to become a living, how to become a working, how to earn a wage through your art. And I encourage you to lean into that. And as courageous as it is to be an artist, it takes courage to blend that with getting the skill set, getting the support, valuing your work. I can't tell you how many times I support artists all the time. I love art. I have a heart for young artists, maybe because of my brother. And I cannot tell you how many times I've seen artists who really devalue their work, undervalue their work. They undervalue their time and their work. Charge, if a person can buy Starbucks coffee for $12, think about the number of hours that goes into your work and charge for it. The song that I was referring to was, the reason that it meant so much to me was because it reminded me of this moment that we're all in, where, that many of us are in. Let me not make assumptions. I know I am, where I have done things that I never thought I could do. There was a time where standing on a stage, talking to a group of people with a light in my face, and a microphone was something that I did not believe I could do. It was something that other people could do. There was a time where being a business owner was something that I didn't believe was for me. I didn't feel fully confident about it. I'm a mother. I'm a grandmother. I'm a woman. I moved across the country to live in San Diego, built by myself, and built incredible community here. My children have moved to the West Coast. My nephew moved here with his family earlier this year. My daughter lives 10 minutes away from me. Every time I think about something that I believe is going to stop me, I realize that if I just take a breath, if I just stop for a moment, if I just recognize that I just have to do things a little bit differently, that the door, the ceiling, the thing that's in front of me isn't to stop me. It's to give me pause. It's to give me a moment to determine how I'm going to move through it. What do I have to do? What's inside of me that can come out differently so that I can get to the other side of it? And so I think that that's why that song hit me. Now that I'm kind of like thinking out loud here, I think that's why that song hit me, because what it reminded me of is that even in the moments where, and I have felt a lot of them this year, where I feel like, oh my goodness, like how do we get through this? How do I get through this? What am I going to do? What I realize is that it's not a wall, it's not a door, it's not going to stop me. It's just a moment to pause, to type A differently, to think differently. And we can only do that when we go inside. So much of our lives, you know, with social media and with people and things, so much of our lives are spent outside of ourselves, you know, looking to see what people are doing, looking to see what people are saying, looking to see whether or not people are going to accept us. And those aren't the things that help us to move forward. What helps us to move forward is when we stop. Just stop. In a world that tells us not to stop, in a world that tells us to push harder, just keep going, wrong or right, as long as you're moving, you're great. I vehemently disagree. The word that I want to leave with you today is, when you feel like you're at that place where either you're going to jump out of your skin, which I know, you know, or where you're anxious, or when you're afraid, or when you encounter a child of yours or a young person in your life who's doing something different from what you would have wanted them to do or what you think is the right thing, or when you encounter other human beings that are challenging you in a different way, I encourage you to stop. Do the opposite of what this culture tells us to do. Stop. Give yourself a minute. Take pause. Go inside and just ask yourself, what can I do differently? What can I do differently? Because I guarantee you that if you stop long enough and if you are quiet long enough to hear the answer, you'll get further than you would have gotten if you just kept barreling ahead. Like, stay in yourself. Stay caught up with yourself. Let's stay gathered, especially now during this time when things are so challenging. Let's stay gathered, because when we gather ourselves, it gives us the ability to also gather others who are like-minded and who want the same things. And I know that the people in this room, what we want is for art to be the thing that takes us to the other side of whatever this is. So congratulations on your courage to be authentically who you are and to share authentically what you have in your spirit. Congratulations to you, Susanna, for all the work that you do. And price your work well. Price your work well. If you're walking around and if you find yourself having to put a quarter on a $5 thing, go to a different group of people. Because there are people who spend, really, you can't keep going to the same. What we do oftentimes is we go to the same group of people. Come on, buy it. Oh, you don't want to spend 5 cents? Okay. What about 4 cents? What about 3 cents? You're at the wrong table. Change tables. Go someplace else. Susanna, I can't say it enough, is Susanna is a model for a person who does not take no for an answer. I met this woman, and she's like, I have this thing, I'm doing this, and I get that a lot. I'm doing this thing in art, and I know your brother's an artist, and blah, blah, blah. And at first, and she'll tell you, I was like, all right, whatever, and I just kind of went about my life, and she didn't give up. And it's not about the not giving up part. It's the dreaming huge part that I'm so impressed with Susanna. She started this thing not long ago and has a vision for what she can do for the arts community, and she's doing it. And she's doing it because she's reaching out to whoever she knows that can help her to make that happen. So I encourage you to use Susanna as a model for how you can get to the place that you want to be. Dream bigger. Expect different from yourself. Allow yourself, have patience enough with yourself to allow something different to come out of you. Dream bigger, make it happen. Thank you so much for your art. Thank you.
Beautiful. Big round of applause, Lisane Basquiat, everybody. Come on.